Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy stream. Today we are playing with Fine and Andy's donation deck list, which is Jund Nic Fit. So in case you're not familiar with Nic Fit, the idea is that you use Veteran Explorer to ramp out a bunch of basic lands so that you can cast some big dumb stuff that's normally just too slow for Legacy. Usually you kill your own Veteran Explorer by flashing back a Cabal Therapy, although you could also use a Village Rites, or just point something like an Abrupt Decay at it, or sweep it up with a Pernicious Deed if you get a little bit desperate. This build in particular is a Jund build that has a couple of combos with it. So for example, you can get Titania plus Greater Gargadon to go and create a whole bunch of elementals and then get a giant hasty 9/7 that is a little bit of a handful to deal with. Nic Fit is normally built around a Green Sun Zenith package, and we do have that with a couple of particularly good things in the main deck. Collector Oof to deal with some combo decks in game one, Tireless Tracker to grind some value, or maybe Clothis to go and just slowly drain our opponent or otherwise answer an Uro. There are a couple of spicy planeswalkers here. There is a Sarkhanval, which can make a whole bunch of dragons for us, but I think a lot of times this is just going to end up taking something from the other side of the battlefield so that we can just swing in for lethal damage or something of that nature. We'll see how this one actually works in practice. We get the nuts. We Sarkhan minus, take our opponent's creature, and then sacrifice it via Cabal Therapy or Village Rites, sort of along the lines of what has happened in Historic with that Cat Oven deck. Another curve topper we have is Terror of the Peaks, which is a 5/4 flyer that costs your opponent some life if they want to get rid of it. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, this thing deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So this can spiral out of control pretty quickly. The sideboard is somewhat traditional for a Nic Fit deck. You have ley lines, you have veils, you have a handful of things that help you answer combo decks like Necromentia and Thoughtseize, and run afoul. Someone in chat is already like, what is going on with that? So the answer is that this is something that can answer a Delver or a Merit Lodge for a single mana. That's what's going on with that. Generally speaking, Nic Fit is a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes its starts are a little slow or a little clunky, but if you make it to the end game, you tend to be the more powerful deck, in that the cards that you're resolving on average are often, bigger and hence more powerful, have better raw stats than things that your opponent is doing. Anyway, I'm really excited to try this one out. People tend to really enjoy the Nic Fit videos. For the people watching on YouTube, please throw me a like before this video gets started. I really appreciate it. It's one of the biggest predictors for whether or not my video is going to do well. If you've really been enjoying my content, specifically, I ask that you consider doing a donation deck list this week. For the next week, I'm going to be on spring break, and I'm going to have a lot of time to record. So if I get a bunch of donations and I can get some stuff queued up for the next couple of weeks, that would be super helpful for me personally. So if you've considered donating in the past, this is a great time. All right, let's battle. For round one, I've kept a very solid starting hand. We get to start with a Veteran Explorer on turn one, and then play Village Rites on turn two. Bentley, they played Smash at the bar over by Star City Games. I think it was called Schooners. I doubt that's all going on now. Oh, that's not good for me. I doubt that's all going on now because, pandemic and whatnot. All right. I guess I just grab another one. There's a Snapcaster Mage, so I probably don't need to be thinking too much about Wasteland, so I'm just going to go ahead and play that out. Oh yeah, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a restaurant owner or equivalent during this situation. That's That's not a position that I envy, to say the least. Alright. The Village Rites is really +1 mana. So I have 3 mana this turn. Go down to 2, go back up to 4. So I can Thoughtseize Village Rites, clothe this as long as I'm willing to fetch something that's black. Go ahead and do that. Excuse me? Well, I think I take the big dumb thing here. I want Badlands. I guess I want Badlands. I do have a red card in here. I am not going to sneak the 1 point of damage. I really don't want my opponent to block since I have 2 Village Rites. I need to grab a mountain so I can cast this, and then I have black, I have red, I have green, so it doesn't really matter what I get with the second one. I mean, Titania is a great hit. So now I know for future games that my opponent does have basic lands. Which is interesting given the amount of greed that I'm seeing. My opponent's deck is a 4-color deck, maybe 5-color, that like also has like main deck red cards. We'll start just draining them. So they have Snapcaster available right now, so I don't want to target Brainstorm. Target the Force of Will then. Yeah, that's fine. What's the best Legacy deck right now? I don't know. Probably some Uro pile. My opponent has a Toxic Deluge, so I guess I want to wait on deploying anything else here. Call that a turn. It's a little hard to like crunch numbers on like what deck is the best deck right now, because specifically right now we're just coming off a period where we didn't get data for like 2 weeks. I mean, I certainly don't mind this list so far, that's for sure. Like, I mean, this is, game 1, round 1, but Village Rights so that if my opponent tries to kill my stuff, I just get more stuff. Seems sweet. Alright. I'm going to fetch here, I guess. I'm going to grab a black source. And I'm going to village rights away the elemental token that I just made. That's fine. All right, we didn't draw into another village rights, so that's okay. Oh, Greater Gargadon, you're just a touch too late. Let's get rid of this Cling to Dust, I guess. Fauna can Snapcaster it, but then that also gets rid of it, which is fine. Yeah, it was fine and Andy, Garen Fox. All right. So this Gargadon. Am I suspending it? I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 8. If I get 2 more mana, I can just like cast this and then nug my opponent with it. Is that too ambitious? Maybe I just suspend this. Guess I should leave this screen out now. No, Bentley, Merfolk is a regular priced thing. We got. I'm gonna go ahead and just dome this thing. I feel like I have my opponent in a position where their life total is under way more pressure than it looks like. I don't need to like play into something that might lose me the game, right? I feel like my position is good. Like we can chill. I think I'm just gonna grab Caracas here. Oh shit, I was supposed to sack that to Gargadon. Well, it might have one Titania, but it has a couple of Green Suns, right? I think we have the full play set of Green Sun, so that means we effectively have a lot of access to Titania. I use Streamlabs Streamlabs OBS, which is kind of the industry standard. My Titania's in the graveyard. I don't really need to play this land. We'll just hold it. Make my opponent be thinking about village rights. So I don't need to like sacrifice a bunch of my lands to get the Greater Gargadon out faster. Like I have them on a 3-turn clock with the Clothis alone. Nice and patient. Yeah, I mean, if you're in any red-green X color combination, you should be thinking about that card. It's very good. Do I have another big dumb green thing other than Titania? I get Tireless Tracker. Tireless Tracker's fine. Now that my opponent's used a Force of Will. Get him. Guess I'll float here. Because I didn't feel like I needed quintuple black. Alright, they have gone to 1. They have stopped my Greater Gargadon. Fling to Dust requires 5 other cards to escape. So that's a little tricky. Yep, we just outpatienced our opponent here. It's possible I could have gotten a kill sooner by sacking to the Greater Gargadon earlier, but I don't think it was necessary. I don't need Collector Oof. Lightning Bolt is a little meh. Pernicious Deed is also pretty underwhelming. That can probably go. Like, Rim 1 Lightning Bolt, play 3 Veil of Summers. Alright, Bentley, will do. Thank you. Or I hate you. Whichever one's appropriate. Um, Thoughtseize isn't bad. But I don't know that I actually want to cut anything else. So we'll call this good enough. I will keep this. This hand's a little unexciting, but I have a lot of pretty useful tools. Well, Thoughtseize my opponent on turn 1, I think. Hoping to turn this into a Veteran Explorer later. Bayou, I think. Could get bad lands, but I think multiple green mana early on is important. Brainstorm is very easily the best card here, but, like, I don't want to fuck around with this. I have cast this card enough to know that it ends games. Yeah, opponent's deck is a 4-color control deck. Something akin to, like, the Strifopile deck. I could think about killing my own Veteran Explorer here to try to drop the Planeswalker into play. I can just do that next turn. I'll go face. Well, could just go face here. We're just gonna chill. Now that I have this Once Upon a Time, it's so easy for me to just, like, play this at the end of my opponent's turn, see if they want to force any action on it there. Things were going really well prior to that Uro. Thanks. Sequencing this turn is kind of weird. What dual lands do I have left? I have 2 Bayous. Do I have another green dual land? I have a Taiga. Taiga is in play. But this could fetch a basic forest still. Okay. The ultimate not really relevant here. My opponent's Uro gaining them 6 life over 2 turns is pretty rough for me. Pretty good for me, though, if they just try to, like, Assassin's Trophy my Nissa this turn, and I just get to Veil of Summer that. Then hit them again. Yeah, so ultimate not looking great here. I guess I should have activated my Nissa before doing anything else. Yeah, my opponent would be at 5 if not for Uro. 4. I'd be pretty comfortable that I'd be in an okay position. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to use the Veil of Summer to keep protecting my Planeswalker. Thank you. Interesting card. That's annoying. That means that, like, my Veil of Summer won't get to draw me a card if I let that resolve. Um, yeah, that's really not good for me. I guess I just let that happen, though. Like, protecting this Planeswalker is more important than drawing one random card. This Nissa does have a buttload of loyalty. That's the good news. The bad news is my opponent just has an Uro that's chilling in the graveyard. This is a heck of a slog for a Nic Fit match, just by the way. I'm making my opponent think. Marius, that's kind of rude, man. Just throwing that out there. Don't have red, yes, I get. I guess, yet, technically. I have black, I have everything else. It doesn't matter too much what I get. So much loyalty. Yeah, you can attack my Nissa, that's fine. We can take a few hits. Oh wait, I guess I can just get Titania. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still leaves up Veil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still leaves up Veil, but I have to fetch. That's fine. Alright. You win this counter war, opponent. Let's attack with Phyrexian Tower. Oh, now you've changed your mind, huh? So unfortunately, my opponent has an Uro that comes back this turn, so I'm not just like potentially representing lethal next turn. I really wish Nissa's ultimate did something. Like the lightning bolt per turn I'm getting out of it is fine, but I've had this Planeswalker for a long time, and the control deck is still alive. Okay. What abilities do you get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on. So I can't even just put this in. That's disappointing. I guess I could put one of my things from my graveyard into play, but I have a veteran explorer. Uh, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold on. Thinking with portals. I could -5 Nissa, get veteran explorer, use that to cast Greater Gargadon? -5 puts us to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, because this counts as 2. It's 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, alright. That's a weird line, but I guess it gets me something in play that's bigger than Uro. I am -5ing my Planeswalker for a veteran explorer. A 3/3 veteran explorer, which I am going to immediately kill. That's weird. Now my opponent's just gonna like hard cast a Force of Will and laugh at me. Why do I call my shots? Why do I call my shots? Calibrex, welcome. Yeah, and now I think that this 3 life that my opponent gets here puts that like me too far out of range. I name human for this for Snapcaster Mage based reasons. Uh that is incorrect, liars. We did not have the enough lands to put it in via Nissa. Yeah, we're donezo here. Yep. I mean, hell of a match, but oh, we're not done. We get another one. Great. Same overall plan. I don't think anything changes about my sideboarding here. This is fine. I get to absolutely shred my opponent's hand. They've taken Brainstorm. Yeah, that was a mistake. I'm just gonna chill and see if they cast that brainstorm first. Yeah, we should have taken the brainstorm. I just didn't. I'm not in think about my plays mode. I'm in don't time out mode. Accordingly, I probably need to take this stop off. That's good. I'll make them fire off the brainstorm suboptimally here. I'll name Heartless Act. Alright. I hit it. I took that. This Uro is just going to be a terror, though. Never mind. There's an answer to it. So the unfortunate thing now is that I can't really F6 because I need Greater Gargadon sacrificing value when my opponent, like, kills my stuff. It's going to take 3 damage if my opponent will let me have 3 damage. I'll draw second main phase. Oh, right, that doesn't actually hit that. Alright. That was just me not paying careful enough attention to what my opponent had. That was on board. um, That's unfortunate. So, like, I know they have the Uro. I guess I can put the Uro in their graveyard. They can't cast it right now. Like, there's a real cost to that. Awkward. Alright, so my opponent has 10 cards in graveyard, meaning that they can probably bring Uro back twice. Oh, that sucks for me. Um, my opponent has Force of Will, and I know about it. So I can't just necessarily just YOLO this Greater Gargadon into things. I'd like to just draw a creature. Yes, ideally. That's perfect. So now I just name Force of Will with this. I resolve Greater Gargadon. And then hopefully I kill my opponent in 2 turns. I'll need to find something to help with Uro. Can technically leave Greater Gargadon back on D. Alright, Force of Will, Pitch Hull Breacher. I think I gotta YOLO this. If they have a second Force of Will, they have a second Force of Will, and they just win this, and that's okay. My opponent is going to have Uro here. I have 2 lands left. I have a minute left on my clock. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the towel here. Oh, they just have something else too? Alright. Alright, fine. Fine. I will be keeping this opening hand. It has Cabal Therapy and Veteran Explorer in a couple of lands. A lot to like here. Guess I can reset this stop. Actually, do I need this stop this league? I probably don't need that stop this league. I don't really expect to be doing things in my opponent's upkeep. Alright. Could be Storm, could be Doomsday. I need to cast Cabal Therapy this turn. I could name a card that's in both of those decks, but if I do that, I don't really pick something that is particularly great against either. We're going to see if my opponent has any results. They do not. Okay. So. Uh. I'm gonna name Doomsday. I might get another turn if I'm Storm. If my opponent's Doomsday, they just go like land Doomsday, and then my life gets way harder. Ho ho! That's a bingo. Like I said, Cabal Therapy. Easy if you know Legacy. And that's a bottom bottom. It is quite good for me. Oh, so I'm only supposed to call my shots when it makes me look smart. And when good things happen to me. I see. I see. Makes sense. I'm gonna just take the guaranteed card here. Alright, so my opponent has Duress and a Flooded Strand. We're just going to put this Tireless Tracker into play and get some value out of it later. I could have gone for a line where I both Abrupt Decayed one of their pieces of artifact mana and played a Veteran Explorer, but my opponent basically has nothing right now, and I would like to get the beats going. Like, more so than anything else, I just need to start clocking my opponent, because, like, my opponent could be playing a personal tutor version or a Limdual's Vault or something that really helps them find the Doomsday quickly. And I would like to be able to kill them the turn. Yep. I would like to be able to kill them the turn that they cast a Doomsday. May. This is a May. May. How do I... How do I win? Green Sun for Collector Oof is kind of nice. Doomsday with 5 mana left over is probably a win that turn if they get another card that's relevant. Okay, hold on. Can I just go aggro here and then kill my opponent? So if I hit my opponent for 5 this turn, it brings them to 13. Then they go down to 7. And then Nissa's haste kills them the next turn. Okay. I guess I tap this one in case I draw Lightning Bolt very specifically. Oh, did I get the way it rounded wrong? And it's 6 instead? Well, that's even more convenient. Then I don't even have to use the Nissa. So they're just dead, right? Because I know their one card in hand is Flooded Strand. Yeah, so that means they go to 6. They can cast the Doomsday, but they don't have a card to draw a card and get the top of the library started. Yeah, playing out that Tireless Tracker rather than trying to attack their mana ended up being really good. I'm going to show them one more card. Like, just on the off chance that I'm wrong and there's something else that, like, they have here, I'm going to show them one more card, because this card's sweet. You know, I want them thinking about this for the post-sideboard games. Oh, actually, that was just wrong, right? Since they didn't cast the Doomsday, I should have just Green Sunned for the Collector Oof. Yeah, that was just wrong on my end. Yeah, we'll see if I get punished for that. I didn't, but I messed up. Like, I was just watching chat, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so they cast the Doomsday, yada, 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 and that didn't happen. Okay, so this is what this card is for, right? So we name Doomsday with this, and then they don't win. So I want Necromantia. I want Thoughtseize. I guess Veil of Summer is fine too. Oh yeah, at 4 life, some of their options really go down too. Alright, does Sarkhan do anything? Sarkhan doesn't do anything. Sarkhan can go. Village Rites probably doesn't need to happen. Lightning Bolt and Abrupt Decay are eh. Plague Engineer is eh. Hey, Volrath, welcome. This is your jam. I probably don't need the Nissa. Like, that's expensive. Terror is at least a creature that attacks for 5. I probably don't need Deed to clear artifact mana. That's probably ambitious. I'm bringing in 8 non-creature cards. Probably means 2 or 3 of those should go. Oh yeah, decay is definitely medium, but if my opponent pivots into something, it's nice to have some around, and it can still, like, tag an LED or something. Maybe I do something like that. This hand doesn't really do anything. This hand makes a collector oof on turn 3. Oh wait, hold on, do I have an arbor? Makes a collector oof on turn 2. I don't think that's better than a hand with a discard spell. I suppose this will do. Doesn't have, like, early pressure, but it has a big fucking dragon. I believe YouTube loves big fucking dragons. There's some crazy cards in the spoiler from the new set. The Magecraft mechanic is pretty sick. Heal Riv, thank you very much for following. Next turn's real good if I draw another black land. Well, we got a 2-for-1 with Thoughtseize. Bad news is that opponent probably has Doomsday. I wish I could double therapy this turn. I don't get to live that life. I'm still going to play the land first. For a, like, daze sort of situation. Alright, we got a personal tutor. Feels like opponent has Doomsday still. Man, not being able to therapy that second time here is rough. Damn you, Tiger! Yep, their last card was Doomsday. Um, well, I'll grab Oof, but not great. We were almost 2 mana to cast Terror of the Peaks that turn. Almost. 1 short. The Lion's Eye Diamond wasn't in the pile. One petal, 2 petal, 3 petal, 4 petal. So there's not a petal in the pile. You don't have haste, right? You don't have haste. Well, my opponent hasn't cast a spell of the correct color yet, so I can't cycle Veil. Right now, I'm just leaving up Abrupt Decay for Thassa's Oracle. And maybe our opponent goes for it at an inopportune time, huh? I don't even have red for Terror of the Peaks. One Force of Will. Starting from the top, 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 Force of Will. So I can start by naming that. Leave safely. Alright, so they have Ideas Unbound. I can take that. That's awkward. Now I can't potentially Abrupt Decay as well. I can Veil and Cycle here. I think I'll just do that. Alright, I don't need to Cabal Therapy anything else. Damn, it was the second to last card, not the last card. Alright. That's a shame. That daze meant that I couldn't Abrupt Decay this and not lose from this position. That's a nuisance. Now I'm on the play, though. Alright, I've kept an opening hand that gets to play towards an early Necromentia. This is just going to try to find me a land. It did it. This just means that I have Necromantia on turn 2. Lord Shedham, thank you very much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Hope your evening is going well. And Patrick, thank you very much for following. All right. Decay on Lotus Petal is like surprisingly interesting here, but I think I'm just gonna take the Thought Seize. I played this turn wrong. Supposed to fetch bad lands and do it off of that. Take the Brainstorm here. The thing that lets my opponent kind of fix their current hand. Ah, man, not fetching Badlands is so bad. I like need black for this. So I think I'm just going to be keeping myself off of red and getting another Bayou here. My red cards aren't super high impact anyway. Yeah, the Doomfins list was a good idea. I just don't think it quite worked in practice. Very happy to see the day is gone. That means that the way is clear for Necromantia. Like, I think the Doomsday side that was just boarded in when I was playing that Doomfins list just wasn't as good as the main deck plan and wasn't as good as a traditional Doomsday list. And I think it kind of flubbed for that reason. I am just going to Abrupt Decay this Lotus Petal. My opponent kept with their Ponder, and this may really throw them off their game. Like, I have a 3-mana win the game card. Alright, so Doomsday is now on top of their library. Doomsday will be in their hand, but they won't be able to cast it. Necromantia is still great. Guess I just Green Sun for a Veteran Explorer here. I have 1 Dryad Arbor. It's in my graveyard. Here's a turn where not sequencing my mana properly previously matters. All I need to do is draw a land. Well, that's pretty fucking good, too. Necromentia Exiles, right? Yeah. Pokeball Therapy and target you. Name Doomsday with this. Pokeball Therapy. It will target you. I will sacrifice a creature. I need another black source, and I'll get red mana. We'll take the Thassa's Oracle out of your hand. I'll cast Necromentia. Target you. Now, as long as I just take the Thassa's Oracle out of the deck here, they probably can't win. It's possible they have some other win condition, but it's pretty unlikely that their win condition will beat stupid Nic Fit bullshit that costs 5 mana. Alright, I take the Thassa's Oracle. Do they have anything else that can win? No, literally no. They could cast Street Wraiths. We're good. The old personal tutor for preordain. Yeah. I respect the concession there. Value your time. All right. This one has no lands. I'll mulligan. Uh. Uh. Keep. Dave, in what country do you teach? Like, are you teaching Italian in Italy, or are you teaching Italian as a second language somewhere else? Yeah, Volrath, if you want to do something next week, like, I've got time. Jam. Um, Stateside, Italian is not a particularly popular language, at least not in like not on the high school front. So I figured that meant you were in Italy. Latin's pretty popular on the east coast of America. Less so in other places. Very happy to see an Uro go. Oh, God. It's food chain. My opponent can get as much value as we can, and if I give them basic lands, it's scary. This is not the sort of matchup you want to see as Nic Fit. Alright, is there an Eternal Scourge? There is an Eternal Scourge. Okay. I'm going to play like this game is going to go on forever and extract maximum value out of my cards rather than just trying to attack their mana base this turn. Like, I could deal with the Noble Hierarch either via Lightning Bolt or Plague Engineer, but assuming this game goes fairly, my opponent is currently favored, and so I need more value. And assuming this game goes unfairly, I'll lose in a turn or two if I bolt the Noble Hierarch. Yeah, Latin is a really interesting language. If you enjoy grammar, there's a lot to enjoy about the Latin language. You enjoy mythology and stories, there's so much rich stuff from Roman culture to dig into. I just told my opponent I'll concede to a win condition for x equals 1. They said they have it, but they're not casting their win condition. Maybe they misunderstood me. I'm gonna just pause this here for the YouTube folks. All right, so a couple of minutes later, I will concede to Walking Ballista. I've conceded. Hello? Hello, Magic Online. Okay. Where'd we go? Okay. Sorry, I completely crashed there, YouTube folks, in case you're curious about what happened. Uh, Playing against this deck, I probably don't have a lot that actually does anything of real relevance. I guess I'll play a little more discard. I guess, Necromentia. It's not the best, though. The Rex Age is okay. I guess I'll Necromentia. Just like having a few more things that stop me from dying to an early combo is cool. Um, let's not Lightning Bolt. Let's not Collector Oof. Maybe this is too much discard. I just do something like this. This hand is mediocre. I'm gonna mulligan this. Hand is also mediocre. It's fine if I hit a land and bad if I don't. I think I'll still keep it. Hand's great. I think I'm gonna lead on Thoughtseize. Alright, so my opponent has a hand that does not look like a combo hand at all. I'll just grab a under, I guess. Ice Fang Coatl can be dealt with via Plague Engineer. So I can produce 2 lands at any time I want, but I don't want to give my opponent that mana immediately. Well, when my opponent has no pieces of the combo, I'm not afraid of the combo. Sort of awkward thing here is that I'm like fueling my opponent closer towards Uro. So I can get red, red here, and then I have like green, green, black, black. I'll have all of my various combinations. So I guess with the Swords of Plowshares gone, I can technically play out this Plague Engineer ahead of time. Fair. I forgot to sack that to Greater Gargadon. Now they just have this Uro card draw machine. Thanks, bud. My opponent is going to have like so many lands in play. Wookie Wasabi, thank you very much for following. And I'm very happy that my opponent played that out. Uh, okay, so does this actually just kill me? No, this isn't like a Lurin. A Lurin can just go infinite with Uro. So my opponent can get another card out of this. I'm going to pause this for the YouTube folks again. Okay, so opponent doesn't have, like, quote-unquote, the combo. They just had enough to put an Uro into play. Not that I really can do much about said Uro right now. But I can do a thing. Hello? I would like to do the thing. Okay, so I guess I want to turn off auto yields. So I can activate this a few more times. Alright. Shouldn't I have gotten to attack with the Greater Gargadon? That all happened in my second main phase or something? That was kind of weird. I don't even kill my opponent if I attack them, though. That's kind of the sad part. The 6/6, I can block it, and then they bring it back, so I guess I just take this. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this. Oh, they can gain 3 more life off the Uro and go to 31 and have a couple of blockers. I've already used Dryad Arbor. So I can just F6 this. Okay, my opponent just tutored for a Walking Ballista, so I'm going to go ahead and concede to them. Alright, I'll be keeping this hand. I'm leaning a little heavily on this Once Upon a Time to get me my other land, but I guess that's fine. Do I want a Veteran Explorer? That's actually a surprisingly complicated question. Next turn I could play Veteran Explorer and Greater Gargadon in the same turn cycle. I could just Green Sun it now and use it as mana ramp, and then if my opponent has Swords of Plowshares, that goes towards this. I don't really want to fetch red this turn for Gargadon. If my opponent has a Swords, let's get it out of their hand. Gary, thank you very much for your continued support. Hope you're enjoying the content despite the temporary food chain lull. Yeah, I mean, as long as the donation deck lists keep coming and, like, my content is supported, I'm happy to continue to make daily content. Hello. There's a lot of ways to play this turn. I think I like this. This isn't counterable. That gets the Gargadon ticking down. That gets the Sylvan Library out of there, meaning that however many lands my opponent got, they don't get to do, like, the maximum amount of stuff with it. It makes my Cabal therapy worse, I'll fully admit that. Okay. I don't know exactly what my opponent's playing, if I'm being honest. Like, I would have expected Island from an Uro deck. Lothus and Tracker this turn, ignore the therapy, is probably fine. That's true. They could have the island in hand. So, um, just talking about the wording of cards for a second. Tireless Tracker says whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on that. That does count with Greater Gargadon. So, like, I could theoretically use that to play around something like a Punishing Fire. Yeah, seems like we're playing against some sort of Primeval Titan Valakut style deck. Let's use a mana to Cabal Therapy our opponent and just get a feel for what's going on. Alright, we hit a Primeval Titan. So that's gone. 4 cards remain. There's a Courser and a Sylvan Library, both of which are good. Now we get to do cool stuff. I think I just grabbed the Sylvan Library here. This triggers Tireless Tracker twice. I don't want Moto to have more features. I want the features that are already there to work correctly. I don't think I cast that. I think I just keep digging. Gives me. Just had a thought. Note that that is lethal. Next turn. Right, it's power. 9. Unless we, like, randomly die to a Valakut somehow this turn. We, should be in the money. Alright, so opponent found Uro. Now they can play Courser 2. And Field of the Dead. A decent amount of value. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just take the Uro out of the graveyard so that can't come back. So now I can green sun for x equals 2. Get the whatchamacallit, the collector oof. That's 2 damage, and Greater Gargadon is the remaining 9. I choose this target. I will sacrifice my clue. This was a great screenshot. And we got it. Wrong. That one goes to the desktop. We might need to look at that one later. I mean, when it works. I mean, we did the thing. All right. I think I'm just gonna bring in a couple of Thoughtseizes, and that's probably gonna be it. I don't know that I actually want to like Necromantia, Primeval Titan, or Field of the Dead. Like, it's not crazy, but I don't know that it's good. I think I just want to attack that stuff with discard and try to kill my opponent. I don't want Collector Oof. And I don't know, maybe I can go down 1 Village Rites. My opponent's not going to remove my stuff too much of the time, although they did show me Lightning Bolt. Um, yeah, let's trim 1 Village Rites and call that good. Fundamentally, Nic Fit's kind of a mid-range deck. It's looking to be slightly bigger than a lot of the tempo decks of the format, as well as bigger than a lot of the control decks. So it's kind of this like high-end mid-range deck. It sometimes has controlling elements, it sometimes has combo elements. Sometimes has hands that look like this that don't really do anything too. Eh. Eh. Well, this was not the plan. And I don't think I'm supposed to play around Wasteland given how many lands are in my hand and given my mana requirements. It's like, I want green, red, and black. And preferably I want to have all of those color combinations within 2 turns, so... I don't think I'm supposed to play around Wasteland. I don't have a Scavenging Ooze. Fuck me, I guess. Maybe Green Sun here. Over Prime Time. I can hit the Prime Time later. God, he's so good. Also, fuck, Wasteland again. I'm still not going to be playing around it in the future. God, that's brutal. Like I said earlier, as long as you know Legacy, Wall Therapy is a real good card. By stream sniping, though, I would have played around those Wastelands. Like, holy shit. Ah! Ah! Please, please don't do Uro this turn. Yeah, like, real talk for a second. The only reason why I'm able to win so frequently with a lot of these, like, janky and fun decks is because, like, at a fundamental level, I really get Legacy. Like, I know the interactions. I've been playing a lot, you know, I play 5 leagues a week of Legacy. Like, I use all my format knowledge to, like, scrape together wins from the clutches of defeat while, playing things for entertainment of the people. Like, I've picked up some 5-0s with some things I'm not proud of. A couple of those mono black decks that I've stringed together 5-0s with are suspect. Maybe a nice way of putting it. Alright, with my opponent having 8 power in play and recurring wastelands and access to Field of the Dead, I think we just we call this game here and we try to win game 3. Yeah, no access to a Scavenging Ooze is brutal, and I don't think I'm supposed to leyline here. That doesn't feel like it's a high enough value card. Yeah, I'm gonna run it back. This is fine. If I attack the graveyard, I'll just lose to the things that are in play, right? Like, I have to make sure that I can implement the game plan that I need to be implementing. And ley lines are not cards that work towards me actively dealing 20 to 30 damage to my opponent. Fuck. Should have named Mox Diamond. Good God. Opponent's hand is gas. Like, yes, a ley line would look good against this hand, but would I mulligan to a ley line? I absolutely would not mulligan to a ley line. And if I'm not going to mulligan to a ley line, I don't want to be playing a ley line. Do I want decay in this turn cycle? I don't think I need it. I want a mountain, and I want access to more green. That's a rough draw. So my next turn now needs to be answering that Sylvan Library. Does that mean I just green sun for 1? I don't think so. I think that card's too valuable as a finisher later. So, like, talking about the leyline thing more, a lot of times I find that if you shut the graveyard off from this deck, it doesn't matter because they kill you from play. The graveyard is a nice resource, but they still have creatures that attack for relatively large portions of damage. There's still things like Field of the Dead that are going to kill you from play. And I think when you're playing a low powered deck like Nic Fit, what do you mean? There's Titan, there's Ramunap, like there's all those 3-drops that my opponent had in play last game. Those things still kill you. Like, Titan does it fast, but those other things still beat you to death. And they still, like, do their value-oriented thing along the way, right? Sure, Eurocat. Remunep has 2 points of power. Remunep still attacks and kills you. We need to draw now for any reason. No, and in fact, I don't want to. Yeah, I just... Like, if I still would have to point a removal spell at the things that my hate is hating on, my hate isn't doing a good job. Right? So, like, if a Reclaimer hits pet play, I still need to kill it or Field of the Dead beats me. This is interesting. I could Lightning Bolt my own creature here to fetch out some lands and make my Green Sun immediately find... I guess Titania is not great here. Yeah, I guess I just let that happen. But I will go ahead and fetch. Badlands, I guess. I guess this could just be a basic. I don't really need black for anything, right? Yeah, I guess this could just be a basic. There's a reason to want black. Alright, what is Green Sun doing? Titania has been made worse. So, like, Clothis now? That's awkward. I don't really have a secondary good finisher since the tracker's also in play. I guess Clothis does things versus Life from the Loam. That's 4 total mana, so I do have 1 more mana to mess around with. I might have known both of those cards, just by the way, from not paying full attention to the game. I know I've already said this a couple times this league, but, like, damn, I want access to a Scavenging Ooze. Like, if I could have gotten an Ooze there and eaten that Life from the Loam, pretty big game. I guess I just take this. If they drew a cycling land, they drew a cycling land, right? Who's though? Do this again. Guess I'll just do it again. I don't think I need Rex Sage. I get like a sick blowout turn this turn. Like with my opponent having Caracas in hand, oh, that sucks. Needed to dodge something like that. Oh, they have stage depths in there? I don't have real outs to that. Yeah. I can't go above 21. I can't burn my opponent out. And I didn't board in like the clip wings type thing. I have one of Caracas. So I'm not dead. Alright, I guess the Plague Engineer needs to be in play for like death touchy reasons. And I don't have too many things to get with this, I don't think, but I'm just gonna... Okay, I guess taking something out of the deck doesn't matter here because I'm putting the green sun back in the deck in its place, so I'm not actually thinning. Yeah, the stage depths combo here is brutal. Like, even if my opponent just gets a couple more zombies here, that's still just rough. Then if they have any, like, real utility land. Oh, they had another field. Heh. The deed in the sideboard. No, the deed is also in the main deck. Yeah, I think I'm done here. Like, my opponent just has another creature on layaway. Two more. Yikes. Now Caracas is no longer an out because my opponent has Wasteland. Uh, I don't know exactly what I'm playing towards. I don't. Yeah, because I can't redraw into, like, the Terror of the Peaks thing. No way to make my creatures unblockable. Opponent has their own Caracas. Okay, now I'm just dead on board to that. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop it up. I see what's going on there. All right, GG's opponent. Okay, I've kept a kind of average looking hand, but it has a whole lot of potential. I'd like to hit a land with this once upon a time, probably. That'll do. How do I want to play this hand? I can sacrifice Veteran Explorer via Village Rites next turn. I can just suspend Greater Gargadon now and go about things that way. I think I just want the land. Go non-basics. Basics. Non-basics. Fetch Dryad Arbor with this. No, I think I'm okay with getting Wastelanded if I have, like, lands coming in the hole. Like, I want to keep my lands in the deck for Veteran Explorers. Especially if this ends up becoming a second one for some reason. I fetched after Once Upon a Time. Against Basic Island, do I actually want to sack Veteran Explorer immediately? Probably not. If this is Show and Tell, I don't want to give them lands. If it's Miracles, I don't want to give them lands. I'm going to put more power into play. My opponent had a Swords to Plowshares, and they're on a deck like Miracles. I think Veteran Explorer just would have got immediately. And so, sort of following that logic, I'm not going to just hold up Village Rights to guarantee that I get those lands. We'll see if that ends up punishing me. Baleful Strix's activated abilities cannot be activated. So I can go 1-2, Village Rights, costs me mana. I can work towards some big stuff here. I think it's okay to swing with both creatures. Yeah, I'm good with that. I can green sun for 2, green sun for 1. I can just hold up village rights. I'm playing against a bug deck. I don't know. I can village rights and have 4 mana, green sun for Clothis. That's probably pretty good this early. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so I have plenty of green. This will give me... Well, I'll get a dual land with this, so I'll just get, like, this and this. See how many basics my opponent has. Therapy is interesting. I can now green sun for X equals 1. Get a new Veteran Explorer and Cabal Therapy my opponent? Twice? Is that better than just green sunning? Gives me a lot of deck thinning. A lot of lands for Titania. I think the green sun needs to be a threat, though. That's okay. Yeah, Kez, Once Upon a Time is interesting. Um, I think the deck needs a couple more creatures. I don't think it matters too much what they are. Aaron. Neat. I think that's a good name on their end. So my opponent is probably playing some large bug-ish Nic Fit deck. I'm here for the Nic Fit mirror. Let's go. My opponent has a Marin, which will be really good. Indeed, a fitting way to end the league. Classic Nic Fit mirror. Very common legacy matchup. Unfortunately, I probably just like 1-for-1 with Marin so that it doesn't get out of control. Costs me 7 to get rid of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 8 total mana, which means I can also just Cabal Therapy. I don't think I mess around with this creature. It was just a very, very good 2-for-1. Alright. So effectively, my opponent and I both have no cards. Like, they have a Cabal Therapy and a land, and I have an Abrupt Decay that's about to be taken by said Cabal Therapy. Fuck. That's a hell of a top deck. An opponent has the Cabal Therapy to take out my Abrupt Decay, which is my out to that Uro. But they didn't. A Cabal Therapy there, Cabal Therapy, does that make sense? No, I don't want that in graveyard. They can pay mana for that. So, oh god. I'm so dead. More of my opponent's cards draw cards than mine do, and they have filtering, and they have Uro as a recurring thing from the graveyard. I think my opponent is favored in this mirror. Oh god. Alright. Opponent's deck is sweet. They just, like, returned Marin. I mean, like, I'll take it out of your hand, but, like, it doesn't feel good. And another Neoform that I have to take. That's spooky. Yeah, now, like, my opponent has Field of the Dead and Uro plus 2 creatures in play already, and I have nothing. Yeah, blue cards over there are good. The incidental life gain they're getting from Uro is also just meaning that, like, any chip damage I might have gotten early in the game from things like Collect Roof and Veteran Explorer just do not matter. My Titania is also just in the graveyard. So, like, I can trade the Plague Engineer with the Uro so they stop drawing cards off it, but it'll come back. And, like, meanwhile, they'll accrue zombies, they'll get bigger once Uro trades with Plague Engineer. Yeah. I would take one more draw step and then concede, I think. I think the scales have just tipped enough, and I've already used my Pernicious Deed to get rid of Marin earlier. Yeah. Alright. What do I have for the Nic Fit mirror? Not a ton. Uro, Marin, Eternal Witness, Cabal Therapy, Veteran Explorer. I think I need to begrudgingly bring in the ley lines here. So I think I am going to ley line, and I think I'm going to bring in a Rex Sage for my opponent's ley line. I think since my opponent draws more cards than I do, Thoughtseize becomes less good. Electro Oof isn't great, but it's a 2/2. Is that good enough? Might be good enough. Like, since I don't have more creatures that I can board in, every creature that I take out is just taxing. It's okay to maybe take out one since I'm bringing in the Rex Sage. Alright, I'll do that. And maybe I'll trim my own Cabal therapies, rationalizing that Veteran Explorers will end up trading in combat some portion of the time. Maybe I don't do that on the play, though. Cabal therapy is pretty sick on the play. No, maybe I do that. I want the Once Upon a Times for late game filtering to help me find a card that matters. This is fine. I need the Once Upon a Time to find something spicy, though. Alright, so I have the Veteran Explorers. They represent lands. My Green Sun represents gas. My Village Rites represents gas. My Village Rites does not represent gas. I don't mind having the one of Caracas. It means the Uros are less threatening. It means the Marins are less threatening. However, I don't really want 3 of these at the same time. This is not the mental path I envisioned when planning out how this hand was going to go. Only kind of all of the mana, though. That's the problem. Oh, opponent doesn't have more lands. That's very good for me. I could have like an Ice Fang Coatl here, I guess. Congrats on your 4-1. I will not be going 4-1 this league. We're doing just a few too many cute things. Interesting. Something in my upkeep. It might have just been for convenience. That's super. God damn it. God damn it. Like, we just straight up lost to that card. My Green Sun isn't live anymore. I missed 2 land drops here. My opponent gets 2 land drops here. I'm dead to that card. Like, it also shuts off the Verdant Catacombs in my hand. Like, Opposition Agent is insane in the Nic Fit mirror. Like, it is just disgusting. I mean, but Opposition Agent sucks. That's the problem with that card. Okay, does this go infinite? They just, like, play Neoform now? Like, the issue with Opposition Agent is, like... Or no, I guess that only works in Historic, right? Like, you don't go infinite with it. I guess I can make a lot of them. Like, Opposition Agent is too slow to matter in a lot of matchups. It's fragile. Like, it doesn't... Oh, are you just gonna gain infinite life? Neat. Yeah, I'll just concede to that. That's fine. We as Nic Fit, we don't beat infinite life. Yeah, so like when you're playing Opposition Agent and you're not just like doing something super unfair with it, it's not that good. Because a lot of times your opponent gets established before you can get that thing into play. The issue is like Nic Fit doesn't get established till like turn 5 or 6. And so Opposition Agent is really powerful when someone is still setting up. The issue is like in the Nic Fit mirror, setup takes forever and you're doing this weird elaborate dance, and so Opposition Agent ends up being like crazy good there specifically. But then against so many other decks, like you play an Opposition Agent and it does nothing, or it gets countered, or it's not a strong enough hate piece to actually win you the game. I've been really underwhelmed by Opposition Agent in most of the decks that I've played it in. Um, Felt a little better in the Dead Guy Ale list than in anything else. Um, but I don't know. Like every time I see it in the main deck, I just think like, can we move that to the sideboard? Like it looked good there, but I don't know that it's good. More generally speaking, like I've tried it in Vintage, I've tried it in Legacy, and I'm pretty lukewarm on it, despite initially being pretty excited about that card because it's such a unique effect. All right, overall evaluation on this deck list. B. Like, I don't feel like the deck building is quite spot on here, in that, like, we're trying to be the Green Sun deck, but we're also trying to do, like, this red stuff with Terror of the Peaks and Greater Gargadon. At the same time, we're also trying to do some Planeswalker-based stuff. So I feel like we're really light on having enough bodies to actually put in via Green Sun. I think we need some things like Scavenging Ooze, Huntmaster of the Fells, Marin, I guess. No, Sarkhan never hit play this league. Honestly, I don't think Sarkhan's that good. Like, we have 15 creatures in the deck, most of which are, like, small and kind of bad, so I don't think the plus ability is that good. And, like, with one Phyrexian Tower and 6 other cards, we have 7 total cards that can, like, live the dream of, like, minus Steel Sack. I think that's a lot for a Planeswalker. Like, you want your Planeswalker to take over the game on its own, and this one doesn't do that. Like, 2 turns later, you get 5 dragons, and, like, that's sick. Like, that's a lot of dragons. Not too many outs to that, outside of, like, Deed and Maelstrom Pulse and Terminus. Um, but I don't know. I feel like we just needed a few more bodies this league. I don't know if 3 Veil of Summer is too many. I don't know if Run Afoul is great or bad. We didn't really run into the right matchups for that this league. Village Rites was pretty strong. Like, sometimes you're not sure if you want to sack your Veteran Explorer because you don't have the gas you need, and Village Rites helps bridge that. Like, you can sacrifice it, and after drawing 2 cards, you'll usually find something to do with your mana. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about this. Like, it was an okay league. We didn't win a lot. It was fun. We did some things. I got a 6 screenshot. Yeah, the Necromentia overperformed. Like, being able to steal games versus Doomsday and other decks of that nature, I think, is really important. Even with additional discard in the sideboard, Nic Fit sometimes struggles with combo because, like, your game 1 is so soft to combo because you have a bunch of things like Abrupt Decay and Lightning Bolts that don't do anything and clocks that are too slow. So I do really like Necromentia. I think it feels good as a 3 of. All right, anyway, I think I'm going to call it there, folks. If you enjoyed this content while you were watching it on YouTube, if you watched it there, please throw me a like. That sort of thing really, really helps me, especially if you're watching the video the first day that it comes out. And if you're really enjoying my content, throw me a comment or consider doing a donation deck list in the future. Have a great rest of the day.